our first guest, and actually our only guest today, is a really fantastic guy who I'm looking forward to talking to a lot about. His name's Dave Halbrook, and he is his home's here in California, and he is an employee of the NRA, a fantastic activist when it comes to the Second Amendment, and just an all-around great guy. Now, this segment was brought to you by Cargo, Cases and Rugged Gear Outfitters, is what Cargo stands for. They're in El Cajon. Check out cargostores.com, cargostores.com. They're at 423 Broadway in El Cajon. Cargo is now a Byrna dealer. It looks a lot like a firearm if you're not familiar with a Byrna, but it's not a firearm. It shoots kinetic rounds to change the behavior of an attacker. They're basically solid plastic about the size of a paintball, and they hurt if you get shot by one, but it's non-lethal, or at least less lethal. Go visit them at their store in El Cajon, and you can actually try a Byrna out and, of course, purchase one from them. Support Cargo. They're a fantastic shop, and use GOR to get 10% off their website, or mention Gun Owners Radio or San Diego County Gunners at the store to get 10% off. All right, let's talk to Dave. Dave, how you doing, man?
Mike, hey, man, I'm doing great. How are you doing out there?
Good. It's so good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
You know, wouldn't miss it for the world. Anytime you get a chance to talk to Second Amendment activists, gun guys, gun gals, it's always a great night. It's a great day.
That's true. Let's talk a little bit about, let's start off with, you had a very cool town hall in Orange County a couple weeks ago now, where you introduced somebody new who's part of the NRA. You invited a bunch of activists. You had some really great speakers and feedback. It was a fantastic town hall. I was hoping you could just kind of give us a recap and talk a little bit about it, and who did you introduce, and give us a rundown.
Yeah, that was November 21st in Orange County. We did something a little similar in Maryland in October. And we thought, where are the most NRA members out here in California? Obviously, try and pick a venue where we can get someone on a Thursday evening from all corners of the state. Picking to that venue, we were able to get some folks from San Diego up, from as far north as San Jose, the Bay Area. We had a couple folks from Arizona come on out, so it was a great night.
Yeah, we had a whole van. I brought a whole van full of people.
Our second vice president, Mark Vaughn, who's the board of directors, it falls in line with the NRA 2.0. And a couple months ago, in our publications, American Rifleman, American Hunter, whatever one you get, we kind of opened the door to NRA 2.0, and this is kind of like a book signing tour. It's like, okay, you folks that are talking about this in this article, we need to put you in the face in front of NRA members, get out there and get engaged, answer questions, like an old town hall meeting. And obviously with the Rhodey case coming up, oral arguments being heard last week, Kim Rhode was a perfect speaker for that event. Second Vice President Mark Vaughn, who travels very well, he's out of Oklahoma, but he's very familiar with the state of California. He has a lot of business dealings here, and as you know, he's a very articulate speaker. Our national manager for state and local affairs, Dan Reed, came on down, and of course, our second vice president, who is, our executive vice president, CEO, Doug Hamlin, who you heard, his kids still live in the South Bay of Los Angeles. Very much California is home to the National Rifle Association. That night, it was a great night. It was great seeing you, Michael. I hadn't seen you in years. It was just a good time.
It was a good time.
So right now.
And I got to tell you, Doug Hamlin did a really good job. That was not the first time I talked to him. He was gracious with his time and generous with his time, and called me about a week prior, and we had a wonderful conversation. And I am the concept of NRA 2.0. When I first heard it, I was skeptical. I'm not gonna lie, but I am no longer skeptical. I think you guys are going to do a great job, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of it. And I'm looking forward to see the leadership that I think I'm going to see from Doug. I think he's going to do a great job, and I'm really interested in seeing the growth in the approach. And I'm wondering, NRA 2.0 in California, what will that look like? What kind of, what will people see different under 2.0?
I think messaging. What are we doing? Obviously, I've worked for the National Rifle Association since 2014. I've always known we're here. We always have a lobbyist up in Sacramento. We always have our field reps running Friends of the NRA banquets. We're always spending millions of dollars in the state of California on NRA programs, women. School, Los Angeles, California, we had a big JROTC event. So we've never left. Where we're short is we've got to start that messaging and communicate with our members what we're doing. And I think this is where we start. We get together with folks like you. It's taken off. I know that we have some events scheduled in America in the next 3 months. January, February, April, and May. Doug will be speaking all over this great country. So what it means for us here in California is we need to get re-energized, get engaged. For those of you that think we left home, it's a homecoming. We need your support. We need a strong NRA. We need California members to be that strong voice. I can kind of say, hey, if you're listening to this or watching this and you're a CCW holder, you're welcome. Pruda versus Gore, an NRA case. We're getting ready to the Duncan case, the road case. We're never going to leave California. We spend more money in California than any other state. And it's funny, working for a company like the National Rifle Association, I can be in Jackson, Mississippi, and I hear the same question. Well, what are y'all doing here? I can be in Juneau, Alaska, and answer the same question. And our friends in Hawaii always have the same question. And my response is always the same. You're the NRA. I need to hear from you. I would love more engagement with Lemon Grove Rod and Gun Club, South Bay Rod and Gun Club, Escondido Fish and Game Club. Get engaged. I'd love to see some more articles submitted to our Club Connection magazine, Club magazine. I would love to see some information out about that. I would love those guys in South Bay that run that ARC monthly match, or I think it's a quarterly match now, that American Rifle Challenge match. I would love more interaction. I've got to get down to San Diego once in a while. But please stay engaged. You guys do a tremendous with your pack down there and getting the voter guide information out. You guys do a tremendous job. And we look at what we did November 5th nationally. Oh, wow, what a great day that was. And, I know we lost some seats in California on the congressional side, 13, 27, and 45. We got to figure out how to recoup those seats in 2 years. Remember, it's a 2-year cycle when we're talking about those congressional seats. We need to get engaged with our activists, our boots on the ground, and communicate. And,
so how do you do that? How do you communicate it? You're the NRA. How do you communicate? I got to tell you, it's definitely a different path for Second Amendment folks in California than it is in many other states. That being said, you get outside of LA, you get outside of San Francisco, and the media reach of those areas, and we're not a lot different than the rest of the country. It's really just like these big pools of population concentration. So sometimes it's tricky. In fact, I'm going to talk later in the show about some messaging issues, but sometimes it's a little tricky when you're trying to message the importance of the Second Amendment to a state that is so bipolar. So what are your thoughts on that? I know that's something you think about a lot, and it's a struggle that you guys have, but what does the NRA do to reach out to such an oddly diverse California?
I think exactly started on November 21st. right? I think we get out here and I think we announce where we're at when we're there. I think we get together with events like you guys are having in early March down in San Diego. I think we need to work on some messaging, some social media aspects, and this is a great example. We haven't seen a lot of messaging come out of headquarters in the last couple of years. You know, we've had a loss we've been dealing with, and that looks like it's in the rearview mirror now. So I think we'll steam ahead, and I think Michael, we're open to suggestions. What do you suggest?
Well, you know, I think that, you know, one of the things that we talk about a lot is we talk about it being a civil right. I think that the generation of it being, you know, a family tradition or hunting is long gone. So I think we're a civil rights organization. The NRA is a civil rights organization. But the other thing is, you know, I think that if there are people, there's a lot of people out there who absolutely agree with the NRA, agree with all its messaging, agree with its goal, and don't wait, you know, to see what they do with people who aren't just like you. You know, you're the low-hanging fruit, so jump on board. You know, I think that's, you know, just shoring up the base is probably job number one. And don't be, if you're listening, don't be a person who prevents that. You know, if you're the base, which if you're listening to this, you probably are, you know, be an early adopter of NRA 2.0, you know, jump in there. But then the other thing, Dave, something you and I talk about a lot is a lot of people look at these organizations, all this alphabet of Second Amendment organizations, and they treat it like it's sports teams. Like, well, this one's my favorite, and they're going to beat yours, and I want mine to go to the Super Bowl and yours to not go to the Super Bowl. We're all on the same team. You know, we should look at it more like, if it's keeping with the sports analogy, we should look at it more like a baseball field where, you know, we're all playing a different position in the field. You know, nobody looks at the, you know, left field and says, that's who I want to win. I hope the first baseman drops the ball. You know, so you know what I mean? So I think we need to change that attitude, which is something you and I talk about a lot. And I'm really happy to see organizations working together more and more, and stop criticizing each other and start working together.
You know, Dave, I'd like to throw something.
Absolutely.
Hi, Dave.
Yes.
Hi. My name's Leisha. You know, my ears perked up. I think I might be able to be of assistance for you. One of the things you mentioned was wanting to be kind of get more involved locally here. I happen to be on the board for South Bay, so I'd love to connect with you afterwards to see if we can get that set up for you.
Well, I want you to get more active with this. We need to get more active with this. You know, Michael, I was pretty blessed. I saw a reality TV show this last summer in June, and I a lot of kids from all over this country, and there was a Toby Keith song in the background, and I'm like, okay, who knows who Roy and Gene are, right? And they're talking about obviously Gene Autry and Roy Rogers, and none of those kids anywhere in America knew, even the kids in Southern California. And I start back and I look at how I became an activist in the Second Amendment, Prop 15(2). But I always remembered that gun culture that I grew up in, right? There were firearms in my house on a regular basis. My family's owned a gun since 1975. So I kind of grew up different. And one of those things where I'm leading back into this, what you just said, different tactics. We all have different tactics, but we all pray to the same God, which is the Second Amendment. My wife always jokes that the 2A community is like a bunch of Baptists, Methodists, Lutherans, all disagreeing with certain tactics. They're all men and women of Christ, and they all believe in our Lord and Savior. And it's like we've got to get back to that, right? We've got to figure out, okay, you guys are doing your thing here. We might not agree on tactics in the Capitol, but we all agree on the same thing. We want every able-bodied person that can legally, lawfully get out there and fire the shot anytime they want. That's what we want. Yeah. We want to bring that gun culture. We want kids of tomorrow to know who Rogers and Gene Autry are.
Absolutely. What brought you, Dave? What brought you into gun culture? Where does your passion for the Second Amendment come from?
I got sent home my junior year of high school for wearing a no on Prop 15 button. My English teachers said that is inappropriate. That's a handgun law. What's the National Rifle Association have to do with that? So what I did not walk home. I walked to the gun shop. And my aunt looked at me and she said, "Why aren't you in school?" I said, "I got sent home because of this button." And I really didn't know what Prop 15 was, but I knew we were against it, right? But I also knew that 3 days later, after I got sent home from school, Roy Rogers was at our high school doing an assembly on why we should vote against Prop 15. And what I can tell you about the governor's race of that year, there was a unknown man out of Yorba Linda, District Attorney George Tuknagian, running against Mayor Tom Bradley. The polls had Bradley way over the top, becoming a governor of California. And then they set that proposition on. And what I learned at that time, that's when a great man that I got to meet, H.L. Bill Richardson, started a group called California Gun Owners, the CRPA. There were smoke-filled gun shops throughout the state. There were coffee cans. And what I saw when a group of gun owners came together, we changed the cycle of the election. We changed the face of the election in the state of California. And it was a great time. It was before cell phones. It was before computers. It was, the meeting place was here, gun shop A, gun shop B. There was a gun shop in San Diego County. I don't remember the name of it, but oh my gosh, it was a liquor store. And we went up and did the same thing at a place called Lazio's in Fontana, California. Liquor store and a gun shop. It was funny. It was a different time, but we all knew it was a fight against our Second Amendment. And I knew that I was in it for the long haul at that time.
The bug bit you. The 2A political bug bit you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I saw, and we got a victory. We had a major victory.
Because by the way, Prop 15 was, in effect, it was, correct me if I'm wrong, but it would have been a total ban on handguns, right?
Yes, yes.
And I don't think, let
not
that,
that
everybody,
I had a handgun.
Well, everybody let that sink in. Everybody who's listening there, and that's not the only time in American history where they attempted to completely and totally ban civilian access to handguns. You know, when people talk about extremism, the gun lobby, gun activists, Second Amendment folks, we are fighting against extremism. We're not the extremists. They were looking for a complete and total ban on all handguns, which, by the way, part of that victory, Dave, that all you guys worked so hard for, this was way before my time, Dave. I'm a spring chicken, so, all you guys
I was a young
you were a pup yourself.
I wasn't old enough to vote.
Yeah. But all you guys worked on that so successfully. I don't think people really understand. One of the victories you achieved is it is political suicide to even suggest a total ban on handguns these days. That would go over like a lead balloon. I mean, there's no possible way. And I think that's a testament to the work you guys did. It's a testament to the Second Amendment community. But if you're ever frustrated, you in the Second Amendment community, dear listener, and think, gee, nothing good can happen, and no matter what we try, it doesn't work. There have been times that things have been so successful that they just feel normal now. So we can absolutely make good things happen. So that's awesome, Dave. I didn't know you were so deep involved in that. That's really cool.
Yeah, and so cut back quite a few years, Proposition H in San Francisco.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, handgun ban. Proposition 8 in San Francisco, California. Who was in charge at the time? None other than Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom.
Right.
We were able to defeat that. We were able to get a check for $50,000 for Kamala Harris's signatures on it, from winning that lawsuit. Yeah, let's not forget. It's funny. My uncle opened a gun shop in 1966, was drafted, came back to the 1968 Gun Control Act. Boom. I went to his gun shop when I got sent home from school in 1982. So you can imagine I kind of grew up in a very activist type of mind frame, very activist family, very goal-orientated, very the W. And as long as we come together and we can make things, we can move mountains. In politically are a little different. You know, I hate it when someone says to me, well, if all the gun owners would just go out and vote. We do. Maybe we're discriminated against because there's more non-gun owners than gun owners. So sometimes I want to kind of change that narrative, and I don't want to beat gun owners up for losing an election. I just want to try and figure out how to fight smarter and win the next election.
There you go. Dave, thank you so much. What do you want? What do you want people to? What's an action item? What do you want them to do after being inspired by your hard work and the message and NRA 2.0? What would you like them to do? Go to a website or what?
You have my contact information. I would love to hear from those local clubs in the woods. I would love to hear from Lemon Grove, South Bay, Escondido. I would love to get engaged. I think I promised my son a trip to San Diego in February. I will figure out that date and track you down.
Yeah.
But I want everybody listening to this to contact me. Let's figure out how we take NRA 2.0. Let's figure out how we can move forward in San Diego. Work together with the San Diego County gun owners groups and other gun owner groups. And let's get that pendulum swinging back our way. We did a great job November 5th. We cannot stop. We got to put the gas on the pedal, foot on the gas pedal right now.
There you go. What do they say? Make hay while the sun shines. And the sun is definitely shining. So let's make some hay. And also join NRA. If you haven't been an NRA member for a while, you need to renew. Go to NRA. What is it? NRA.org, NRA.com,
NRAHQ.org.
There you go.
NRA. Yeah.
Awesome. Great interview, Dave. Thank you so much for joining us.
Michael.
And I'll see you.
Always a pleasure talking.
Have a very Merry Christmas, and I'll see you in February, it sounds like.
You do the same.
Great.
Yes, you will. All right. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Dave. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And thanks for checking out Gun Owners Radio.